Okay. Good morning and welcome to Where Are We Wednesday?
Episode
9.
Woohoo!
We're episode 9. I can't believe it.
And I gotta just say how excited I am because I bought this new little contraption. So
the
our
phone's not gonna fall.
Look at this, it's great.
No, this is great.
We're like real lawyers today.
Yeah, we're in my office. We have the
Law
books here.
I don't think I've ever opened one of those since law school.
No, they're for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you
but they're real.
If
they're
you
real.
if you do like real law stuff, you kind of need to refer to them.
Exactly.
But in real estate, we don't need to refer to them.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So I'm Sandy Goldstein,
I'm Julie Picardi.
and we are real estate attorneys, honest.
Honest.
And today we're kind of going to talk about a little bit about where we've been, what we've been doing, and what we actually do for our clients. Last week we were not here.
I had to unfortunately put down my puppy after 13 years. So any of you dog lovers out there, you know what that's like. She had kidney failure, and it was a tough choice. And we were going to try to do something later, but I just was not in a good place.
No,
so it was a very long and crazy day. So
so that's what life happens.
Yes.
in any career. Any career.
And you still have to work through it. But,
right. Excuse me.
And then I'm going to be away for the next 2 weeks, so we're going to be broadcasting from different locations, right?
Yeah,
so,
remember how that worked.
Yeah, and it's the end of the month next week, so Sandy's going to have to cover for me because I have some stuff coming up. And I'm going to be camping in the woods with the kids, so we'll be going live from the campground, which should be really fun. Yeah, it should be great, but anyways.
Yeah, it is a very, very busy time. We're doing a lot of real estate these days. And if you're looking to buy or sell, now is the time. If you need a real estate broker or a loan officer, call us. We have great references for you.
Yeah, so we were talking that we needed to sort of explain a little bit because it seems like maybe some people are not entirely sure
what a real estate attorney does.
Right, and you know, we maybe get confused with realtors or whatever. So
we don't sit on video all day.
Well, you know, I love to sit on video all day, but you know.
Okay.
But anyways, so it's we kind of can act in 3 capacities, I guess, right? So we would be a buyer's attorney, a seller's attorney, or a bank attorney, and sometimes bank and buyer attorney are sort of simultaneous.
Right, because they both have the same interests, so you can represent both.
Correct, in Massachusetts, where you can't represent a buyer and a seller because that's a conflict of interest.
Different sides
of a transaction. But we can work with buyers and banks.
Yep.
And I think that's where it gets a little bit confusing. So I think starting with the seller is probably the most straightforward and the easiest part of it. So as a seller rep,
we review the purchase and sale agreement. We deal with any title problems that come up because the buyer side is going to run a title exam on your property. So we deal with those, missing discharges, that sort of thing. And then as we get closer to the closing, we review the numbers. And one of the things I think is great for sellers, and I know you do this too, is a lot of times a seller might be moving out of state. I have one now that's moving to Texas. And so we can go to the closing for you. You can sign the deed and a power of attorney ahead of time, and you don't have to go. We'll review the numbers with you before you leave. And it makes it kind of easy, and the funds get to you after the closing, so it's all good.
I'm just thinking how professional we look.
I know, and the phone's not falling over. There's no wind in the office.
We don't have,
this is good.
Flies and bugs.
Julie bought this. We're gonna post a picture of this because it's quite special. Yeah.
But yes, from a seller. So I like to just say, like, from the first step for sellers basically is listing the property with a realtor, right? And listing the property with a good reputable realtor.
Yep.
A lot of sellers try to do for sale by owners.
Not a good idea.
It's not. I mean, we all get that you're trying to save the money and that kind of stuff, but
there's
so much that gets involved with selling a property that it really is a better option to have a professional that's working with you, that can market the property, that can handle home inspection, that can do the open houses for you, so that you don't have to deal with it. I mean, they do a lot of work.
And you know, one thing you said, saving the money. You don't save the money because buyers who are looking at a property for sale by owner, ding, 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 ding. Ooh, they're saving 5%. I'm going to get at least half of that.
So it becomes a little bit. So that would be the first step for a seller, and then obviously then from having a reputable agent to then coming to the attorney. So then at that point we would work on the purchase and sales. The offer is generally put together between the agents, right? So we then get the offer, and then we incorporate the terms that are in the offer into a purchase and sales agreement for the benefit of the seller, and then that gets negotiated with the buyer's side. So at that point is when the attorneys would get involved is once an offer's already been signed and accepted. And then we would then work with you. So as part of our job would be to negotiate and review the purchase and sales agreement, to obtain payoff statements, or to make sure you guys get the payoff statements, to make sure that we review anything that comes up, and then to attend the closing with you or on your behalf. And most sellers don't want to go to the closing because it's to take a day off from work and go to a closing. It's why bother?
And the scheduling gets changed around a lot.
So that would be from the seller's perspective. And
so then from a buyer's perspective, one of the first steps that you need to do is to find out how much you can spend. And the best way to do that is to sit with a reputable loan officer who goes through all the numbers with you, explains the whole process with you, and talks about what your payments are going to be and how that's all going to work, and looks at your credit. And they can tell you how much you'll be able to afford. The reason you want to do that is when you put in an offer, you need to put in a pre-approval letter, because the seller is going to want to know that you've been to a bank and that you can afford what you're putting forth. So it's important to do that, because a lot of people are very surprised. First-time home buyers might be going to a loan officer and then finding out that their credit is not as good as they thought it was. So there are things sometimes, even if you're thinking about buying a house, I know a number of the loan officers that I work with, and I think that you work with as well, they'll review your credit, and they may say to you, you know what, work on this, do this, this, and this for the next 6 months, and then, your credit will improve and you can afford more. And then, once you have that number, that doesn't mean you have to, spend that amount, but at least you have an idea, and you're not looking at houses and falling in love with something that, can't afford. Right. So once you have the house and you've gotten the offer accepted, again, working with your broker, because they are, the professionals in getting, the offer submitted and approved.
Then it comes to us.
Yes.
It's allergy season.
I know.
So then it comes to us as a buyer's attorney, and again we would work with the parties to negotiate the terms. So from a buyer's perspective, I think it's a little bit more, not complicated, but a little bit more involved.
It's more involved because then they're going to do a home inspection. So you're going to do the home inspection. The realtor is going to be there, and things come up in a home inspection always. There are some things that, look, you're going to be a homeowner and you're going to have to fix it. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
So
it really comes down to, like, one of the biggest things we talked about in one of our other ones too is monitoring your commitment date to make sure that you're approved for financing, so you don't lose your deposit.
So we do the purchase and sale agreement, and then you continue on with your loan officer to get all the documents in a row, and then we get to closing. And as attorneys, we conduct the closing. Schedule the closing and work through all the numbers, and at the end of the closing, keys pass across the table.
It just came from one this morning. It was so nice.
It is nice.
But yeah,
that's
so
my favorite part.
It is. And so as a lender's attorney, so a lot of lenders have their own attorneys or lists that they have approved. But buyers, you should be able to have the option to ask that your attorney, assuming your attorney is a conveyancing attorney, which is different because not all attorneys are conveyancing attorneys. As conveyancing attorneys, insurance. We have to have special insurance. We can write title insurance. So as conveyancing attorneys, any lender should allow us to cover a closing, and you could request that. And it's nice to have the same attorney work with you as the buyer and as the bank's attorney, because again, you have the same interest, and it does make for a much smoother transaction, and also can save you some money ultimately, rather than paying a separate buyer's fee and a separate substantial buyer's fee and a substantial bank fee.
Following up on that, I'm all about teamwork, and I think it's very important to put a team together, whether you're a buyer or you're a seller.
We just said that at the closing this morning because it was so smooth. And she said to me, do they always go this smoothly? And I said, you know what? When you have a good team, it does. When you have the right realtors and you have the right bank and lender and you have the right attorneys on both sides. Seller's attorney's been doing this a long time. I would do it, like, it just was a smooth transaction.
And, for a buyer, to have a realtor that can talk to the lender, that has his or her cell phone number, versus, the lender is out in Texas and it's a time difference, and you don't have a contact, and a lot of people go online.
I have a lender who's not returning calls, and
one I've never heard of.
Right, well, you have to
never heard of them.
But anyways,
but you know what, the client wanted to use them, and they had already established a relationship. So I certainly can honor that. But if you're starting the process, or even if you're in the middle of the process, or a little bit into it, and you don't care for you're not getting the response from the loan officer. What?
Is it Zoom? Is it Zoom?
I don't know, but it's not falling over.
Well, I know it's not falling, but I was seeing how it just did that.
Oh yeah.
It looks
Okay,
like it.
whatever.
So is your phone like focusing?
I don't
or zooming?
know.
I'm just
I don't know,
curious.
but it's not falling over.
It's not
There's
falling.
no wind.
There was no wind, and it's passing. Okay.
So
Anyways,
yeah.
so that's we just wanted to explain a little bit more about what we do because
Yeah.
I think sometimes people are confused about where we would fit in and what our capacity would be.
And one of the biggest things that we do is to review title. The
that's
title.
so
And we'll
fun.
talk about that another day. And we're going to
Not
go
fun
into
at all.
Boston.
Oh yes, yeah. I was talking to my friend and
Lynn
our
Murphy
friends.
Breen.
Yeah, Lynn Murphy Breen, who's at Chicago Title, who's
Yep.
our go-to for
Everything. Best underwriter in the
I
world.
sent her like 4 or 5 title problems yesterday. The poor
Yep, she
thing.
gets
And
them,
I'm on the phone with her, and
Uh-huh.
I said to her, Lynn, we got to do this. We're out.
She works with 2 computers.
She's
great.
She's like
Yeah.
the best,
It's
and
awesome.
it's nice because
we're going to hang.
she totally bails us out.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll do one where we have like the 5 top whatever.
Yes.
Because Homestead, that was one of the
Yes.
issues again.
Oh, God, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And I also have a life tenant who had to grant, and so there was a whole bunch of stuff. So
Yeah,
so
Lynn's our go-to.
Lynn's the go-to.
So,
we'll
Lynn,
come
get
up-
ready.
Yeah,
we're
gonna
coming.
come up with some
We're coming.
questions.
Clean that office.
We're gonna do that. It'll be
Right
fun.
from her office. And Eric, yes, we're coming to Framingham
Yes,
too.
yes.
Once the kids are in camp,
Yeah. Oh, my kids start camp in a couple weeks.
it'll be great because
It'll
we have
be
the whole day.
fabulous.
Aren't they there till 4?
Yeah, they're there till 4. Yeah. So,
Okay, see, and I'm not
so that's why I have to deal with them for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
I just got 2
I know.
weeks.
But then we're gonna
And then they're
be
in
all
camp.
over the place.
And then they're in
yeah.
camp.
We're
And,
going to
and then,
Framingham.
exactly. We'll be all over.
All over.
It's all
But
good.
for now,
But for now, we're signing off.
all right, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next week from we're not sure where, but Where Are We Wednesday. Have a great day. Bye.